Clearly, the plan wasn't to be in this position again. But we're here. Now it's up to us to respond and react.
I think there's still plenty of fight out there. We're getting better as we go. Every opportunity we get to throw at these guys, you know, we improve from it.
If you're asking for someone to point the finger at, then you should point it firmly at me.
I think we showed we're a pretty tough bunch. You know, we got asked some questions. You know, I feel like we answered them with our performance on the water.
We've shown we can beat these guys. This isn't over. They haven't handed over the trophy yet. And we're going to come out, we're going to get stronger, and we're just going to focus on one race now. There is no second.
There is no second.
Day 5 of the America's Cup match here in Bermuda, and could it be a famous one for New Zealand sailing? They're on the brink of their 3rd America's Cup success in the country's history after a dominant performance out on the Great Sound on Sunday. New Zealand have won 7 of the 8 races in this match, but the lead is only 6-1 due to the Americans claiming a bonus point in the qualifying stages. It's now or never for Oracle Team USA if they've to stop New Zealand making history. Let's join our commentary team of Alistair Eakin, Ken Reid, and on the water, BAR's Freddie Carr.
Race number 9 of the America's Cup match underway. It could be the last as the New Zealanders aim to make history. The eyes of the sporting world now focused firmly on the Great Sound.
I really thought that Spithill would absolutely be going for it right now, but it looks like he's looking to gap off, possibly start towards the top end of the line. Remember, the right-hand end of the line up at the top of our screen, right up there, that's actually a little bit further away from the first mark, but it's always a faster angle. So let's see if they can make that faster angle work. This time and distance has been a problem for Jimmy Spithill. Let's see if it is today.
So he's pulled the trigger. Has he gone too soon? Looks like it's going to be just fine this time around. And the 2 boats straight up on the foils. The Americans just about in front and tearing towards Mark 1. So critical that Jimmy Spithill and his team got away to a clean start, a quick start.
They have to be first to this mark. Ali, they just have to be. They need it for their own psyche. They need it for just simply their chance to win this race. They need to get over the top of Emirates Team New Zealand for a chance to win this race. And it looks like they might have pulled it off. You see they're actually sailing below the mark right now. There you go. 2 out of 7, I think, in these starts so far. So Spithill finally got one in. Man, did he need it.
Good boat speed from the Americans as well as they turn around the first mark and head downwind for the first time in this race. And the Kiwis in behind them. They've been very happy through the course of our time here in Bermuda to play catch-up. They've bided their time. They've waited for the wind shifts, secure in the knowledge that their boat is quick.
Let's start canting. Stand by. Okay. Happy. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
So Kiwis first to jibe, the Americans right on the boundary.
This is, I think the whole world is just holding their breath if you're an Oracle fan right now. That jibe was so critical. They stayed on their foils, but they're in a very precarious spot right now. Any speed edge to Emirates Team New Zealand, and then they can do a little reversal here and roll over the top. Doesn't seem like Spithill's too concerned, but I'll tell you what, that's really close to being a disastrous spot for Oracle right there.
Let's get to them. Windward heel, guys. We're pretty low. Yeah, we've got
Neck and neck right now.
And they have gotten over the top. Oracle is in a tough spot. Emirates Team New Zealand just barely bow out, potentially using their wing wash to slow down Oracle. They were quicker off the jibe again. Yet again, how many times have we said that in this series?
Pace up now. Watch out.
Just a tiny, this is why we always say the fastest boat wins the America's Cup. That tiny speed edge right there goes from behind to ahead in a heartbeat for Emirates Team New Zealand.
There's the wing wash, which the Kiwis will be hoping will spoil the Americans there and slow them up just sufficiently to allow them to extend their lead at this point. They're going all the way to the ley line, the ideal route in to the gate without any further manoeuvres.
Mate, Albatross. Albatross. Stay here. Okay, stand by.
Into gate 2 with the New Zealanders out in front, looking to claim the trophy, to claim their place in history. The Americans already, even at this early stage in the race, with plenty to do.
An albatross, clearly, we all wanted to find out what an albatross was there. That was a super difficult maneuver by Oracle, and you can see they're paying dearly in boat speed for having to do that last second spin around the mark. They did it pretty well, but I'll tell you what, that was not pretty and that was not easy to do.
So the New Zealanders leading the race, the Americans taking off in a separate direction to try to chase a little bit of wind and find a way back in here, because that lead is being built all the time by Peter Burling's men.
That split became so critical for Oracle that they decided to do really one of the hardest maneuvers in these boats in match racing, and they need that split to continue to possibly gobble up that lead, because Emirates Team New Zealand is in their standard way. They're not slow and they're not getting any closer. Look at the speed difference, 23 knots to 20 knots right there.
Okay, it's going to probably lift you slowly, but not much.
Pull back their curtains this morning, they will have known that in these conditions, the Kiwi boat unquestionably has an edge. We've seen it throughout our time here.
Well, Glenn Ashby and Peter Burling, you see Glenn Ashby twiddling his knobs there down in the bottom right-hand side of the corner, just kind of trying to do his thing with his box. Controlling the wing shape and trim.
Well, again, the foiling tack, such a slick maneuver. This lead is looking like a very significant one for Emirates Team New Zealand.
Going out to Freddie Carr in the water. Freddie, the breeze is still around kind of that 8-9 knots. Is there a general trend here?
Yeah, the breeze is still 8-9 knots. It's just like yesterday. There's 2-minute oscillations flicking left and right. Ken, the no-look jibe by the Kiwis on the boundary was unbelievable. Glenn Ashby was halfway across the boat as the boat was getting turned down. That was superb boat handling by the Kiwis.
So we have a no-look jibe and an albatross so far in this race. Ali, we thought we had heard it all, and we haven't.
Well, they're pushing the boundaries. They love it, don't they? The innovators, they've been setting the agenda not just on the course, but off as well, with their designs and their techniques, their tactics.
Yeah. Slowly tick off that way, Blanger. 20 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Yep. Let's stand by there, guys. Okay, boys. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jimmy Spithill, with all of his experience, needing to draw upon the great maturity of it right now. Twice an America's Cup winner in 2010 and 2013.
21s, 22s.
But at the moment, staring down the barrel.
Could be a possible little right-hand wind shift on it. You see up in the upper left-hand corner that the angle of Emirates Team New Zealand kind of curling down. Very often that means the wind shift is going the other way. Looks to me like when these guys come back together again, they're going to be a little bit closer.
Just a little. Will be one to the left here. One.
Keeping it close, Oracle.
Take it up if you've got it. Yep. You have your press now.
Well, we always talk about that 150-meter mark, Ken, as being just about in the realms of being in touch, staying in touch, having the opportunity to turn it around. One mistake and you can edge in front. Get too much beyond that and it becomes much more difficult. We're right on the cusp of that kind of threshold right now.
It's still phenomenal to watch these tacks, how just flawless they've become, how stable the boat becomes, how quickly they fling the thing over.
And once they've maneuvered, the cyclones go to work, generating that power, pushing the oil around the system to allow them a little bit of tactical freedom. Decisions can be made at that point once the power levels are back up where they need them.
Interesting, even in the 9 knots of breeze, they're all on their medium air jibs, their code 2 jibs today. I kind of expected in this lighter breeze, and maybe throw it back out to Freddie for a second. Why aren't they going with their bigger jibs today, Freddie?
Yeah, it's a trend that we've seen throughout this America's Cup. When you're on the long foils, you don't need quite as much sail area in the sky to get them working, and it comes down to drag through the air as well as drag through the water.
Quite a big speed discrepancy between the two boats, obviously currently heading in separate directions. The Kiwis were motoring away from the gate at around 30 knots. The USA struggling into it at around 20. They seem to have leveled off though a little bit here. Great shot from the drone as Glenn Ashby heads across the trampoline, takes the helm for a moment until Peter Burling arrives. And they just have this brilliant distribution of responsibility that works so well for them. Glenn Ashby, the man one in front of Burling, something of a catamaran guru, multiple world champion, and a big influence, by the way, on Jimmy Spithill's development with the multi-hulls.
Yeah, I watched he and Jimmy Spithill crew for him in what was called the Little America's Cup. I believe it's the C-Class World Championship in Newport, Rhode Island. Jimmy Spithill crewing for Glenn Ashby way back when. Seemed like forever ago.
Partners turned adversaries. And the Kiwis through the gates. Upwind one more time. And this time going with an early tap.
This is just to control the race course. Knowing full well that Oracle Team USA was going to have to split and do something. This is a traditional kind of match racing move. You go around the most efficient mark and then you tack early. You're going to give up a little bit of your lead, but you know what? When these guys get around the mark, you're going to be pretty close to the same water and the same puffer wind shift that your competitor is in.
Just over your shoulder. A little bit of speed on here. You're working, boys. Okay, let's stand by there, guys. Keep the build on. Yep. Copy. Okay, boys, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. On, mate. Turn, mate.
So the Americans still in touch just about, but they have to be a little concerned at this point with time beginning to tick against them. The defenders of the America's Cup. There will be a quiet realization that this might be over in the not too distant future.
Everything you got on this lap, boys. Not even all out, boys. Faster, boys. Let's dig up. Nice, boys. A little fast, Tommy? Happy 20, yeah. Happy a little fast, just a little. Probably there, right? This is good, yeah, no lower.
Lots of positivity, that's good to hear.
Lots of positivity. I think exactly what you would expect to hear from these guys, quite frankly.
This one, and then you got lift coming. Lift in 2, 1. Good pressure there now. Happy VMG again. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Come on. Nice. Happy to be a little faster still. Boundary's going quick. Yeah, 20 seconds. Let's stand by. Here we go, boys. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I know New Zealand did those 2 extra tacks at the bottom mark. Certainly gave up a bit of their lead, but
Flattening heel.
I would guess that Emirates Team New Zealand fans are far more comfortable in this position right now with a 150-meter lead than complete opposite sides of the race course with a 250-meter lead. You're vulnerable. Here,
Again, boys.
you're not very vulnerable.
It's that arm's length thing.
Exactly.
Keeping them where they want them.
Looking up the backside of these wings again, looking to try to prove me correct on Emirates 2 New Zealand, but they seem pretty quiet with the top section of the foil right now. We were looking for that hummingbird concept that Freddie Carr introduced to us the other day, and it's not exactly there right now. But listen, this is again what we talked about earlier. This is the one mistake zone, you know? The problem is, Kiwis just don't seem to be making any mistakes. Yeah, classic match racing right now.
Well, he was criticised earlier on in the match itself, wasn't he, Burling, for not covering Jimmy Spithill and Oracle Team USA. Seems to have rectified that in pretty much every department. Simon van Veldhoven, again, right up towards his absolute max heart rate. The bronze medalist from London 2012. New experiences for him out here on the water, as we were telling you earlier. Not least the day that the Kiwi boat disappeared upside down.
Maybe a little bit faster, so we've got a good attack.
1 minute you're cycling, next minute you're gargling.
This is going to be one and in for both boats. Now the Kiwis will make sure they lay the mark. Oracle attacks early again. They're just trying to do anything right now. Desperation again is trying to take over. This is why their grinding is going on all the time. The cyclists creating hydraulic pressure on the Kiwi boat, on the boat on the right, on the boat on the left. Certainly, Team USA doing it a little more conventionally with coffee grinding, with the grinding pedestals. One interesting part of this, and maybe we bring Freddie Carr in for a second. One interesting part is the Americans seem to, on the left, the port starboard, that is the board up down. And Freddie, you can help me with this. The board up down is a different, what's called an accumulator, pressure accumulator, than actually moving the appendages around. That's a completely separate entity, and we see that on the right, and that number seems to move a lot more on the American boat.
That's right, Ken. So you have lift accumulators for dropping and lifting the boards, and then you have a rake accumulator. The big gain that the Kiwis have is they can fill that rake accumulator so quickly and set them up for their next tackle jibe.
Freddie was telling me earlier, he thinks that the Kiwis, now that he's not in the cup, he can admit that the Kiwis might have about 30% more effort, more pressure.
Yeah, that's right, Ken, about 30%.
So the Kiwis needed one more tack to get into the gate and round. And that means that the USA have gained on them just a little bit.
You know, it's interesting, they have this close tactic. Definitely closed up the lead a little bit, but again, they're in the same water. There's Oracle just again doing everything to get to a different side of the race course. Splitting yet again, choosing to do another tack, anything.
By Jimmy Spithill with one downwind leg to go. He's got to roll the dice. He's got to come out punching.
The bar has been set very high by that other boat who's just kind of constantly kicking their butt. Let's be frank, it's not, this is a bit of a caning going on here right now in this America's Cup, and quite frankly something I don't think anybody really anticipated. We anticipated these guys to be good. I don't think anybody anticipated them, the Kiwis, to be this good. Except maybe them.
Peter Burling at the moment with his foot on the American jugular, looking to go in for the kill pretty soon now. Got to admire the calm, the composure, the measured approach which this man has brought to proceedings all across this 5 weeks of racing on the Great Sound. Think back just a few weeks ago to when their boat was in shreds after that dramatic pitch pole. And not just him, of course, the shore team who put it all back together.
And don't forget the millions of Kiwis that are up watching this right now. I think it's about 5 in the morning back on that little island, and they're just licking their chops right now. They're saying, Auckland, here we come.
Wiping the sleep from their eyes and recognizing that their team is close now. Very, very close indeed.
Could be 2 more jibes in, though. Possibly 1 more jibe in. Let's see if they can soak down, because this is kind of an interesting angle into the finish line. Let's see if they can soak and get there.
So the USA desperately trying to chase the Kiwis down, but the game is up. There will be no fairy tale comeback this time around. Jimmy Spithill has lost his magic wand, and in the meantime, the Kiwis, innovative in their design, intense in their focus, resilient throughout the time here in Bermuda. The New Zealanders pedaling into the history books. The America's Cup wrestled from the USA by Burling's men in black. The trophy belongs to New Zealand. All that heartache and pain of San Francisco replaced by jubilation here in Bermuda. So in the end, 8 victories in all in this match for the New Zealanders. They win it by 7 points to 1.
They have been radical with their design, near perfect in their execution. Quite simply, Emirates Team New Zealand have dominated the 35th America's Cup.
We now present the America's Cup to Emirates Team New Zealand!
Well, Pete, massive congratulations. You've just lifted the oldest trophy in world sport. What was that like?
Yeah, you know, it's an unbelievable feeling, and you know, as a Kiwi growing up back home, you know, watching our country compete for the America's Cup, and you know, to be able to come here to Bermuda, you know, with an amazing group of guys and girls like we have here, and you know, we feel like a really tight family, you know, in the base, and you know, to be able to get the job done today and be sharing that trophy with them and bringing it home, you know, it's just an unbelievable feeling.
If you could have your time again, is there one thing you would do differently?
I don't think there's anything, one thing in particular. I was sort of saying before, it's kind of ironic that even when you win the America's Cup, you still, you know, you think about all the things you did wrong and what you wish you could have done better. Obviously, when you lose the America's Cup, there's quite a lot more, and the list is long. And I think that's, for me and the team, that's probably going to be the next few months, really reflecting on that, what we could have done as a team, for myself, what I could have done individually to be better. But the most important thing is to learn from it and grow stronger.
Well, Glenn, you were on the boat 4 years ago in San Francisco. You know what it's like to lose this trophy. What is it like to stand up there and hold it above your head?
Yeah, look, it's a much nicer walk up to the dais, you know, when you win than when you don't. That's absolutely for sure, and that goes through the whole of sport, I guess, at the end of the day. But look, just an amazing feeling of satisfaction, I guess, you know, for the whole team and for New Zealand as a country to be able to pull this off. It's been an unbelievable journey.
Well, I'm sure they'll be celebrating from some time to come. Well, joining me to share his reflections on the event is Sir Ben Ainslie. Ben, just a word about Team New Zealand. I mean, they came here and led from the beginning.
They did, and you certainly have to take your hats off to them and say what an amazing campaign. And you look back to 2013 and some very difficult moments, I'm sure, reflecting on that narrow loss and going back to New Zealand and rebuilding and starting again and coming through and, you know, totally dominant through this competition. And, you know, this final America's Cup against Oracle Team USA, again, they were dominant through all of that. So an incredible campaign and journey for them. And we look forward to going down to Auckland. And
would you describe them as brave?
Absolutely. You know, they've certainly, their approach to this new class of boat, I think they of all the teams, they've really thrown everything at it in terms of effort and time and so on. But just the design philosophy, I think, and looking at what are the key performance differentiators and really going for that. And, you know, the cycling is one element of it, or the cyclors. Their dagger board design is more dynamic and extreme than everybody else's. And those are really, you know, the foils are really the key performance differentiators in these boats. And they've been braver, more extreme than anyone else, and being able to pull that together. And that and also stepping up their sailing team, how they perform. You know, starting off with a series, perhaps not sailing that well, but really developing through and really outsailing Oracle in this final series. So an incredible achievement.
you win the trophy, you lift it above your head, but you also are then responsible for the next one. What's the chat? What's the glimmer of the future?
Well, we've heard already that the Yacht Club of Sicily is the new challenger of record. That effectively is Team Luna Rossa or Prada, Patricio Bertelli. So they will now negotiate with Emirates Team New Zealand the rules, the class of boat, the venue, date for the next competition. Both of those two teams have huge history in the America's Cup. They're both commercially minded teams, and so I'm very positive about that, and that they will negotiate a good terms for a great event down in Auckland, no doubt. It may not be Auckland, but I expect it to be in Auckland 2, 3, 4 years' time. And for our team, Land Rover BAR, we're committed to winning the America's Cup. We've built a great organisation here now. Okay, we didn't make it this time as a new team. We knew that was going to be a huge challenge, but we will keep going now. We're determined to get that job done.
Well, thank you, Ben. It's been a pleasure following you. And that's it from Bermuda. New Zealand have lifted the oldest trophy in world sport, and a nation is celebrating. That's it from us. Thanks for joining.